doing, man. It's awesome.
Hello, hello. How are you guys doing? Today we're going to look at the difference between an ARH header. This is a 2-inch primary header for my 2014 GT500. As you can tell, the ports are huge and sort of oval shaped. And the Coyote Ultimate header, primary, looks vastly different. And what I want to talk about on this video is the difference between both builds. I'm lucky enough to have both, so I can kind of show you, not necessarily why one is better than the other, but just kind of the differences as to why I think Ultimate header specifically for the Coyote platform. And this is for S197. That's right. This is an S197 inch and 7/8 primary Ultimate header. Now, obviously, you're going to see the first thing that's going to stick out is the flange size, right? And to me, that's more like clamping force. When you have smaller primary, let's say, mounting flange, like the ARH does. And again, this isn't an ARH versus video. This is a, what I have and what my thoughts are. I've mounted 3 sets of these: Fairmont, 15 GT, and my 19 GT. And I've literally never had a leak. And I've had sort of less than optimal room to clamp down on the bolts. No leaks. I've never had any leaks of any sort. On the GT500, this is an ARH header. Not that it's bad, but because there's less surface area, I mean, you can just tell there's a lot more meat around the bolt holes, and it allows you to basically put more pressure down on the flange. As you can tell, I had some leaks, and I thought I had a very good access to the mounting bolts. And what ended up happening was I still developed a leak right here. So maybe it's a header design issue, maybe it's too weak issue, but honestly, I think it's more of a clamping issue because the Ultimate header flanges are a little bigger. Now, on the backside of the primary tube that I've noticed on the Ultimate header is the way that they, let's just say, take the turn. So if you look at the header from this angle, you'll notice that it's still round here. Then they weld it. And you go, I wonder why they did that. Well, in my opinion, I think they did that to keep everything round. When you bend tubing, whoa, I don't want that guy to fall. When you bend tubing, it tends to get on the oval side. You know what I mean? Like the more you bend it, the more oval it gets, and it gets pinched around the tight radiuses. Ultimate header has developed a nice little setup where they obviously weld on the inside, just like American Racing does. Again, this isn't a comparison video. This is just, showing you the differences. Again, this is GT500, so it's a lot bigger. They also weld it nicely here. But when you can see the backside of this flange and how there's no visual weld marks here, and just maybe the design of the clamp, I guess lends itself to better clamping force, because when you look at the ARH side, they have like a small weld here, then no weld here. See, it's welded in some areas, and then at the bottom, there is no weld. So maybe it's prone to warping or whatever. Whoa, that guy's hauling ass. Man. Oh, that's a Camaro. Oh, burble tunes. Holy shit. Thank God we don't offer that gayness. Oh my God, popping and burbling, the gayest shit on the planet. And this one seems to have almost like a pie cut mentality. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people do pie cuts to keep everything round and not sacrifice pinching and bending on the exhaust. Again, I'm not being, a salesman for Ultimate header stuff. I'm just kind of noticing what they do. But anyway, just to give you a heads up, they are offering S197 Ultimate header inch and 7/8 exhaust for sale. They actually did something very nice for me, which I thought was, I don't know, they didn't really have to do this, but the fact that they did it was super nice. They ended up doing a little YDBT weld, hashtag my little logo on the collector. I highly, highly appreciated that. So another thing I wanted to address that's happening on social media is some very odd behavior by influencers. And again, they're influencers. They're not Mustang people. They're influencers. They buy a car to clout. That's all. They don't want to teach you anything. They just want to Cloud chase. So one of the bigger things that I'm tasked with buying a part or getting given a part and then vetting the part and then making sure it performs the way it's supposed to perform, is you also have to, in my opinion, protect the people that are giving you the part. And this is an ultimate header, long tube header, X-pipe with catalytic converters. Now, I understand, we're not stupid. We all understand we're out there racing and we're doing stupid stuff. So I'm not gonna sit here and try to chastise you as to, hey, you can't run off-road exhaust. Please, stop it. But when it comes time to represent the brand that's giving you $2,000 or $3,000 or $8,000 worth of parts, about the last thing, in my opinion, you should do is put them in a compromised position where you tag them, you tell them what you bought, and then you mention the part that you have and say off-road. You know, I'm installing an off-road exhaust in my Mustang with a blah, 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 and this. And then they tag who provided it and the people who manufacture it. And in my opinion, that's irresponsible. Again, in my opinion, you could do it all you want. In my opinion, it's irresponsible because I think you're tasked to not only represent the brand, but protect the brand. And when people talk shit on the brand, you got to defend it, you know? But if you're going to go out there and put them in trouble, look, we're living in the EPA era. You understand? We're about 2 or 3 years away from seeing gasoline particulate filters on vehicles. They're already in the UK and Europe. Mustangs have gasoline particulate filters. You understand? The moment those things get quote unquote deleted, the car should not be able to run, similar to diesel trucks. And we've seen what has happened to the diesel market ever since the EPA has brought down the hammer on them. But look, you can do whatever you want. You're a grown-ass man. You want to tell them you have an off-road exhaust and tag the company that gave you the off-road exhaust and that you're going to run it on your VIN vehicle on public roads, that's fine. You can do whatever you want. Don't hit me up or any people up to get advice if the government comes after you by saying, I'm running off-road exhaust on a vehicle with a VIN on US roads. It's okay to do it on a track, I guess, but if you're gonna go street racing on the street and you tell people, hey, this provider gave me this part from this company, you are not protecting them. And finally, to give you an update on the Fairmont. So, yes, the broomstick is holding up the hood. I ended up mocking up the motor. I used the Billet Pro Shops engine mounts, and I have the mid plate back there, but I still have to mock that up. What I wanted to do initially is to sort of get a sense as to where the engine is going to fall with the 1320 fabrication roll cage and front tubular setup. So what I did was I installed everything from Billet Pro Shops, and I just kind of with cardboard cut out something that I thought would maybe work. Maybe they have to be taller, thicker, you know, depending on the material that I make it out of. But I'm happy that everything seems to be lining up nicely. The motor sits a little on the high side, which is odd because it used to have a Coyote in it before with a 6R80. But the more I look at it, the more I know that room down there is going to be difficult for the Turbo 400 because I can't get it any lower, which is kind of odd. But again, I'll talk to people because the power steering rack is in the way. And it's already hitting, you know, the pan, and and I'm going to run, you know, I'm going to basically cut those off, cut the motor mounts off. But the fact that the rack is that high, kind of troublesome because I need to get this thing lower in order to have enough clearance to have the mounting bolt for the whatever transmission I'm going to use, which is going to be a Turbo 400, the Reed Case Turbo 400 that I used to have on the GT500. Is going to go back on this car. But giving you an update, yes, it's getting closer, just mocking things up, trying to figure everything out, doing a lot of research online, trying to see what fits, what I can do, what I can't do. Obviously the welding is going to be sus. I might have to buy a small welder, do a ton of practicing if I'm going to do this here because I don't want to do a bad job at it. So I'll do my best to get everything, you know, as nice as possible, clearance everything. I really don't want to have to cut anything on the inside here because I just don't want to cut anything on the inside, you know what I mean? I don't want to have to cut the trans tunnel, but if I got to do what I got to do, I'm already in it this deep. The cage, I'm ecstatic how the cage came out. I did a little bit of painting on the floor on the back, nothing crazy, just one coat of that stuff, so it's looking pretty darn good. back here. So I'm really happy how all of that is coming out. So just giving you an update on what's happening here at the 1-1 with 3 garages. Hopefully the next time you see an update, I'll have the mid plate mounted, the motor tabs welded on, and maybe the 400 in it, but we are very far from that. But just wanted to give you guys an update on the exhaust from Ultimate Header and what's going on with Hush Money. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll talk to you later.